His energy remains there in one of these buildings. He doesn't like the fact that everybody else learns and goes on with their life and he doesn't.
It's typical for any university to have students come and go, but in rare cases, some never leave. Over the past 50 years, there have been multiple accounts of paranormal activities across Eastern's campus. Tales originate with Mary Starkweather in 1976, and expanded to include Pease Auditorium, the First Year Center, and the now abandoned Jones and Goddard dormitories.
Hi, I'm Joan St. John, a clairvoyant, psychic medium, and paranormal investigator here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I'm here today to channel and discuss the present paranormal activity at the EMU campus. Recently, I have written a book, Mists of Mackinac, detailing the ghosts on Mackinac Island from a channel medium's perspective. And so today I've been asked to channel some of the ghosts that exist today at the campus. Okay, let's begin.
Pease Auditorium was constructed in 1914 by Smith, Hinchman, and Grill. Tales of Pease's hauntings surround the story of two ex-lovers, a trumpet player and a dancer. One day he was walking past the auditorium and heard music. Upon walking inside, he found his lover dancing for another man. In a heartbroken rage, he fired a shot at the other man, but killed his lover instead. Disgusted with his actions, he fired again and killed the other man. Finally, he raised the gun to his skull and fired the last shot.
I don't feel any of these people are living at this time, so this must have happened in history, not recent years. I want to say maybe the 60s, 50s, 60s, the clothing looks like from that era. I hear a horn. One of them played a horn instrument because I can hear that. The woman, and not the boyfriend, but the one that was murdered, they both were musicians because they were comfortable going there. Feels like they went there a lot. This was a home base for them. The other one lured them there. I feel he eventually took his own life, was that it could have been after this event, but they're not, none of them are living now. I feel as if he was instrumental in all their deaths somehow. He came damaged. Some people come with mental defects and emotional defects. They come that way to learn lessons here. He couldn't get past this defect, this emotional illness that surrounded his life here. But his spirit doesn't have the damage. He was healed, so it feels like he went on. The woman went on too, and that energy though remains. Nobody cleared it. Nobody got rid of it. It's almost like they walk around it. They might hear things, they might feel things, but nobody's addressed it in all this time. What you have there is not the spirits themselves, but the memory. Sometimes energy stays behind of an event, especially a traumatic event. And in this case, it's a loop, like your film loop. Goes over and over the same thing. And you might not hear the words of these people, but that energy remains. It feels as if there's a torment here.
Jones Hall was constructed in 1948 and Goddard in 1955. Both were designed by R.S. Gergenoff as all-woman dormitories. Between 1987 and 1988, a series of fires broke out in dorms across campus, one of which being Jones Hall. The fire caused $10,000 worth of damage to the building, and a student was later convicted for arson and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Jones and Goddard were abandoned in 2005 from the decrease in residents. The hollowed halls are now rumored to be occupied by that of a faceless janitor.
Let's see what he has to say. It's a dirty job being in the basement, he says. It wasn't his first choice in life. He kind of resents the students. They come in all bright and shiny, waiting for to finish school and start these adventures in their life and to make money, and he stays, he remains. This is his lot in life. He's not very happy about it. He feels as if they don't see him for the person he is, but they just think of him as the guy who cleans up after them. He stays there because he has to make sure that, he calls it the boiler room. It could be the furnace room, it could be where all the heat generates from in the building, making sure it's okay. But he's not happy. He says, if I give you my name, they'll blame me because they'll know it's me. He says, just call me John, like that's a popular name, so just call me John. He doesn't want people to know. But I'm getting the name Ben, and he doesn't like me saying that, so that must mean that's closer to his name. He's very determined to stay there. He doesn't like the fact that everybody else learns and goes on with their life and he doesn't. I feel there was an explosion or a fire of some type that rendered this building useless, and he's very content over that because he doesn't want people in there. He doesn't like the fact that these high and mighty students come in here with their rich parents, their attitude. He rambles on regarding that, so he's not a happy spirit there. The fire wasn't an accident. There was a fire there, wasn't there? It wasn't an accident. He caused it. And I have a sense that haunted him till his death, or he might have died there. His death was not an accident either. So that's why he has all this hate. It stems from fear.
Then I'd like to thank him for his hard work.
He looks, really? He's crying now. He's crying. He says nobody ever thanked him before. He goes, you appreciate hard work. You're not like the others, are you? No, it wasn't. My father used to beat me. He goes, he treated me badly.
My father is a janitor, so thank you also, because I know what he goes through.
He says, these are not like the others. They're not like the others. And I said, no, you just met a few of the wrong ones. I'm telling him he can just turn around and look up, and he's crying. He's just crying. He feels so relieved by what you said to him. He says, I can go home? I'm like, yes, you can go home now. So I see him walking away from this building towards his family that awaits him. Like you would say, it's going to the light, if you want to use that term. He's gone. He's gone. You released him. You won't see him back there. You won't feel him back there. Yeah, that's all he needed, was to be thanked, to be appreciated, because he felt like he never was in his whole life. What happens when a spirit's like this is they're stuck in the reality of the moment in which they had their death occur, or which meant so much to them. And his moment was this anger and this hostility. So he's still looking at it from that point of view.
The first-year center was constructed from 1966 to 1968 and was built on top of a cemetery. Some even believe that it was built on top of an Indian burial ground. Residents have reported activities ranging from voices to poltergeist encounters.
I see this cemetery and a building on top of it at this campus when I'm looking psychically, and it seems as if there's a lot of activity, negative activity going on, because this was built on top of a place that holds a lot of sorrow. When they say the problem of building on a graveyard is not because there's bodies there, because once the spirit leaves the body, they're not really attached, but the energy of sorrow, the energy of pain accompanies a funeral. The thoughts that come there remain. It's like a fingerprint. And I think when you're bringing in freshmen first time away from home, first time moving out of their family home, you want to put them in an environment where they feel cozy, where they feel connected. And this dorm will never feel that way. The campus can never really rise to its higher level energy because they've never done a clearing. I do clearings of places all the time, especially hospitals. You'll find in a hospital, certain rooms people die more often in than other rooms because of the energy of the sadness and the fear of the last patient and their family. Then that patient in his weakened conditions feels, I'm going to die, because the last person had that feeling, and it builds one on top of the other. So I instruct hospital workers and nurses to go in and clear it energetically, and that makes a big difference. So by changing the energy of the place, you change how people perceive it.
It all started on a cold November morning. I had slept in till about 11 a.m. My roommate was currently at classes, and she wouldn't have returned till about 1 p.m. I set my sweatpants down on the top of my laptop, but took the rest of the clothes with me. When I came back into my room, I noticed that my pants weren't where I had put them. They had been folded neatly and placed under my desk. I found this to be odd, but again, I didn't think anything of it. But what was more strange was that Google had been up and someone had searched SI for you. I was slightly creeped out at this point. When my roommate returned, I told her what happened. We decided maybe my sweatpants had just fallen off, but sweatpants can't double click the icon for Firefox and go to Google and search for SI for you.
After 164 years of activity on Eastern Michigan's campus, it comes as no surprise that so many legends surround it. We have only covered a few of the laws and legends, but as the university continues to grow and operate, one can only imagine what else will manifest.